Babe, your
Ooh.
content going crazy.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
A little bit.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Let's go on your page. At 11.3K, when you started at what?
1900, something like that.
How long ago?
A little less than a month.
Your latest post, let's talk about your latest post that is at 556K. 556K views. That ain't no little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't no little bit. At 34,000 likes. Boy, your content taking off. How do you feel about that?
I don't, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool.
How does it? No, like be honest. Like, how does it feel to reach the people?
Let me be honest about it. Let me give you my full thoughts.
Okay.
Like, stop rushing me through my thoughts.
No, because you was finna say some bullshit.
No, I wasn't. I was finna tell you the truth. Anyway, the post itself, I think it's dope just because, I mean, in essence, all I'm doing, I'm talking about how much I love my wife, which is complete truth and facts. Like, I genuinely love the woman that I chose to marry. I think it's important that people see love on display like that. And so I'm glad that I got to share a message like that that's connecting with people.
Yeah.
As far as how I feel about the views and the engagement, like, it's amazing the fact that so many people are finding value in it, which I'm super happy about. And it's also showing me the current state of the world when you're thinking about all of the people out here who seem to be so hurt by seeing genuine love on display. Like, even though we have our show and we talk about love and stuff like that, it's not for clout or none of that other stuff or whatever. Like, it's the fact that we feel that there's a need for people to understand the value of having happy, healthy relationships. And we want to be a voice for that in a world where so many people are trying to put down what it means to be married and to be committed to somebody that you love. And that's not cool, because we're all better together. We're better with someone. We're better when we're actually contributing to the lives of other people. We understand that in business, but for some reason we don't understand that when it comes to our intimate relationships. And we have to be a voice for that in a world where so many people are trying to put that message down.
Right.
And so I'm glad that what I did share had so much of an impact, and I want to build on that, because people need to understand that being on this side of the team, or the field rather, is dope. Like, it is dope being in a happy, committed, fulfilling relationship, marriage specifically, where you get to constantly grow and evolve and be your whole self all the time with somebody who loves you for being you, and learning how to do that together, like, throughout life.
Right.
And this is just the start of something so much bigger that's on the way. So I'm happy about that. But I don't know, like, I guess I'm focused, because I'm like, all right, we're making some noise, but now we got to put some substance behind this, because y'all see me professing my love, for my wife, which is 100% genuine, but it's not going to be as effective as I want it to be if we don't talk about everything behind the love and what it took for us to get to that point. Because I see so many people talk about, like, oh, if you don't come to me like this or whatever, then I don't want you. Though I get where it's coming from, I don't agree with it, because you don't know what we went through in order to create that. It took a lot.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a man who was crippling. Like, I was like soul crushingly insecure. There was a point in my life where I was ridiculously insecure. I was lost. I was literally like just taking up space in the world. I didn't know who I was. I was making a lot of bad decisions. And I wasn't even happy with the person that I was. And the Lord saw fit enough to bring this woman into my life or whatever, who got me back on track. Not even who got me back on track, who made me want to get back on track, which is completely different. I saw this woman and I knew that what I was at the time was not good enough for who this woman is and how I saw you.
Wow.
I saw you a certain way, and I knew that in order for me to be able to connect with you and have anything meaningful with you, not even thinking about marriage or you being my girlfriend or nothing, like just to be cool. I was like, hey, you know what? You deserve a higher quality man. And I wasn't that. But the moment I realized how dope you was, I wanted to be so much better. And I put that burden on myself. Like, you didn't have to do it. You was just being you. And then in that process, you started making yourself better, which means I had to work even harder to make myself better.
Right.
And that came with a lot of us bumping heads. That came with a lot of, uncomfortable conversations, all kind of stuff. Yeah. I had to basically become a completely new person.
Yeah. A lot of conflict.
Yeah. A lot of conflict.
Yeah.
I was hood dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was straight up, street project Tron, like, got it out the mud. Like, I ain't never seen nothing fancy in my life. Like, I wasn't nothing impressive. You know what I mean? I was just a regular dude. But I was somebody who was hyper interested in you. And that was enough for me. I was so interested in who you were and the fact that you were nothing like me. And the way that you saw the world was interesting to me. The fact that you hadn't been exposed to so much was interesting to me. And I just wanted to see how we could bring our worlds together and see what that could potentially turn into. I didn't even know I was going to fall in love with you the way that I did.
Yeah.
But it's so much more, man, to our love and our connection and what we have today than just seeing what I said in that post, and professing my love and doing all that other stuff. It's so much more behind that, man. It's so much more substance behind that.
And even in that was only a minute clip from like a 30-minute episode that we made. Yeah. And I just so happened to get that one part. But it was so much context in that 30 minutes. And, we just got that 1 minute clip. So, yeah, it was a lot that built up to you even saying that in that moment.
Right. And so that's what I'm more so thinking about. Like, how can we make this message so much more clearer to see what it took to get to this point rather than just focusing on the end goal? Because a lot of people, man, they get so consumed in what they see online, like that moment, right? Which is cool. I'm grateful for it. I'm glad people, are appreciative of it. But that's not how it starts.
Listen, I was telling somebody in my DMs, I was like, to be honest, we both were red flags to each other. If social media was social media-ing the way that it was when we first met, we would both be red flags to each other and we probably would have avoided each other. Like, that's like an absolute fact. Because us being together just didn't make sense if you pay attention to how social media puts relationships together.
Nothing about
it made sense. But we were so interested in each other that what was different about each other was our main point of interest.
Literally.
It's the fact that we were so different. It's like, damn, I really want to get to know this about you. You're from the hood? Okay, well, tell me about that shit, because I've never been.
Right. And I'm like,
I want to know where you're from. Like, take me where you're from. Like, I want to learn more about you. And it was the same. Like, you were the same about me. You want to know where I'm from and all that stuff. So, yeah, people don't understand that. You don't just start as this, as where we are now, 12 years later. Like, it doesn't start like that. It starts with being opposites. It can start with conflict. It can start with being frustrated with each other at times. Yeah. But we're so interested in each other that we're okay with going through those frustrations with each other to build something better and to grow together.
And man, what's wild is the fact that when we first met, one of my biggest insecurities was the fact that I didn't think I was good enough for you. I did not think that I was the man that could have a woman like you. Yeah. And the fact that I had your attention to me was a blessing. But I kept thinking about the fact that, you know what, even if I feel like she's out of my league, while I still have her attention, I can keep getting better. I can take the feedback that she gives me. I can take, you know, all of the things that she's told me about myself. I can take all of these things and I can figure out how to make that information useful to where I can become a better man for this woman that I ultimately really want to keep in my life. And I never had to like come back at you and attack you and do all this other extra stuff to put you down, especially when I was like, hey, you know what? I might not completely understand it, but I don't see how this makes me worse off if I get rid of this character trait. I don't see how I could become worse off or a lesser version of myself if I stop doing certain things. Like, and that's just what my mind was at the time. Like, I didn't have to reject every thought that you shared with me or whatever, because I know I was real different. I was real rough around the edges. Yeah. All of that stuff. Like, and it didn't run you away.
But even in you being rough around the edges, I don't know if I'm close enough. Even in you being rough around the edges, that didn't make you a bad person. I thought you was dope from jump. Like the first day we met, I thought you was dope as hell. I was like, oh, he's cool people. Like, I think we could be friends. I didn't think I was going to see you after that day or whatever. But I thought you were just a dope person. Where you from didn't matter to me. Like, you were just a good, genuine dude. And I can tell by the conversation that we had that day. Yeah. Yeah. So that shit didn't matter to me. Like, you're a good person. You're a good person. I don't give a fuck where you from.
I mean, fortunately enough, you thought that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, I mean, progressing through that, though, like, it's so much more to our story and how we got to, you know, these soon to be 10 years, you know, together that we're about to celebrate.
10 years married, not 10 together.
Years married, yeah. You know, 12 years together, actually 12 plus at this point.
Yes.
But, yeah, man, it's so much more to us than what you can see in a 1 minute clip. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or a minute and 30 seconds, whatever.
Whatever it is.
It's like, everything that we are together today, we built with no like advice,
no guidance, no role models, no nothing.
We built everything that our marriage is today from scratch, and nobody showed us the way. But what we did was we committed to each other, and we committed to becoming the best version of ourselves independently and together. Yeah, and we never allowed our not knowing how to be the perfect partner to stop us from trying. And we stayed hyper interested in what each other were interested in. And we invested in each other. Like we continued to grow and just do whatever we could to let each other know that we're committed to being together and trying and figuring stuff out. And we never made each other the enemy. Right. And people don't see all of that stuff because it came with a lot of bumping heads. It came with a lot of confusion. It came with a lot of like faith and trust and so many other things or whatever. And we just kept trying. Yeah. And ultimately it ended up becoming what it is today. But people don't see all of the freaking work that was done for years up until the point of it becoming what it is today. And that's what people miss. Which
it's not even anybody's business what, you know, everything we've been through. Like, I think, like, we're not obligated to tell people everything we've been through up until, like, who we've become now as a married couple. Like, we ain't obligated to do that shit. However, I think it's dope that we are choosing to share our marriage experience, our parenting experience, share our own personal growth experiences with our audience or whatever. Like, I think that's dope within itself. But the fact that, like you said, like, people don't know what we've been through to get to this point. I'm really trying to figure out how I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say. I think it should, I don't know. I think it should all like be assumed that you've been through some things to build to this point. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like, damn, like when you see somebody who's super, super fit, you don't just assume like, oh, they just randomly got fit out of nowhere. Like that's just, they woke up like, oh, I woke up like this. No, that's not what happened. They went to the gym every day. They stayed on their nutrition. They drank their water. They were consistent as fuck for years to get to this fit version of themselves.
Right.
It's the same with marriage. So like it should be assumed, to me, in my opinion, it should be assumed that a mug done went through, like they done went through some stuff together in order for them to build what they have now, which is why my husband can talk about me the way that he does, because we done been through some stuff together. I deserve everything you said to me in that video. I deserve that shit. We've been through some stuff. I've helped build you just like you helped build me. So I deserve to be talked about like that. And you deserve to be talked like that too, which I did in another video that we have not posted yet. But anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, like we deserve that because we've built this shit from scratch. Nobody helped us. Nobody told us the way. Shit, as a matter of fact, most people said we shouldn't have got married at 21. They were against it. Oh, we're too young to get married. That's and look at us almost 10 years later, and we're the only ones that have lasted.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So clearly we got some shit figured out.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, even in all of that, like we done got so much skewed advice along the way.
Man, listen.
And so many different people that have tried to project their opinions or whatever. And I'm like, man, you can't tell me how to love my wife. Like, you can't tell me how to be there for her when you're not the one actually living through our relationship.
Absolutely.
Like, come on. Like, you can't tell me what my effort is.
Come on.
Like, I am the one sitting over here intentionally learning how to read my wife's emotions, knowing what she's going through, knowing what she's feeling, knowing how I need to show up for her, learning how to be able to best serve her in whatever the situation is, because I never want her to be in a situation where she feels like she's not being heard or cared for or whatever the case may be. Like, I genuinely and intentionally put forth the effort in making sure that I show up for my wife in every opportunity that I get and every chance that I get. Like, a lot of people, man, they get this real roundabout, high in the sky, vague, mystical sounding freaking advice or whatever, overcomplicating stuff when it really just comes back down to like, bro, be interested, care, give a fuck.
Period.
Like,
yeah,
that's it. Like, that is really it. Like, if you just start there and your values are aligned, you can figure out pretty much everything else. But what people be downplaying, man, is the fact that they don't understand that if you are in a marriage and your values are off, conflict can only end up being the ultimate result because you're working in completely opposite directions.
Right.
If you and your spouse in your marriage are not aligned in your values, conflict is the only thing that can happen because you're going to have these things over here in your life that you think are important. They're going to have these things over here in their life that they think are important. And both of y'all are going to be working in completely opposite directions. And eventually y'all going to wake up one day and y'all not going to recognize each other because you've been prioritizing stuff in your lane rather than figuring out how can we bring our shared interests together and create a vision that caters to both of us and we can run after that thing together. And people are missing that part.
Which is why I made a post the other day where I was saying, I was like, do y'all set like actual relationship goals? Or are y'all just like whatever happens in y'all's relationship? Like, it is very important to set actual goals within your relationship, outside of finances, outside of kids, outside of the household, outside of your job, outside of everything that's external of the two people in a relationship. It is important for you to set relationship goals so y'all can know where your relationship is going.
Yeah.
What are y'all building on? What are y'all working towards? What are your values built on? And revisit these conversations constantly because you're both going to be evolving as life goes on. So you need to revisit these conversations because what is the point of y'all being together? It has to be more than love. In my opinion, it has to be more than love or, oh, I like you a little bit. No, it has to be more than that. Why are we together? What are we building on? What are we trying to grow? Where are we going? What's the point?
And how are we contributing to each other and getting to that place?
Yes. And what self-work are we doing to make sure the relationship thrives? Like it's so many questions that we can ask each other that can help make the relationship better. It's just people they're focused more on goals that are related to jobs, goals that are related to academics, goals that are related to their kids, goals that are related to fitness, but nobody looks at their relationships and say, hey, let's actually create relationship goals. We're too busy looking online, looking at people's pictures saying, oh, their relationship goals. No, baby, relationship goals are the goals that you set in your relationship and you actually follow through with. That is a relationship goal.
Literally.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm on. I'm like, we need to figure out how to make relationship goals an actual standard in relationships. That way you can know where you're going and you don't have to look online and say, hey, oh, I want to be, their relationship goals. No, I'm relationship goals. We set some shit and we follow through. I'm it. We it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Let them know.
I'm trying to say what I'm saying.
And it's weird because so many people will base what they think their relationship should be off of what they see externally. Right. When you can't even relate to that. That's not even your relationship dynamic. Like that's not even what you and your partner are about. Mm-hmm. Like the crap is weird, man. It's really weird because, man, it's so funny because social media is at a state to where we like to magnify the highlights. We like to magnify those moments that seem so special. Man, you put some soft music behind a regular moment and you put some meaningful words on the screen or whatever, and people be like, oh my God, like I want that. Boss, do you not realize that a mug sat down, took the time to do whatever that is? It was quiet, felt awkward maybe, whatever, to create that moment that created an emotion in you. It didn't even feel like that when they was doing it. They was like, oh shit, you motherfuckers looking at me all weird. Motherfuckers making this. I ain't got a clue what I'm gonna put on this thing.
Right.
I'll figure that out later. Mm-hmm. Whatever, like, man, like it's funny because everybody today is a media company when it comes to producing content online. Right. So when people are talking about like, hey, this is what we do in our relationship, or these are questions you should use to rekindle the flame in your marriage or whatever, like, bro, people are... Social media is real life TV. How can I use certain words, certain moments, capture a certain image to make a person on the other side feel a particular type of way, to connect with this thing, to get my views, my engagement up or whatever, which is all cool. I ain't got nothing against it. But don't confuse what you see over there with real life. It's not, man. It's some days where you ain't saying nothing. You just sitting on the couch, y'all in your own little world or whatever, and you just want your bodies to touch. Yeah. That's it. Like you ain't really want to talk about none or whatever. You just want to be able to look up every now and again and be able to say, you know what? I love you. And that's it. Like it's plenty of days like that. Like people are so, I don't know, man, like confused. Like there's so much life to live. You would be crazy to believe that the majority of what a marriage is the type of stuff that you see online. You know how much stuff happens, how much real life happens in between these moments? Listen. Like, come on. Like, everybody's out here living a real life. Right. It's not just these moments you hear talked about on podcasts and on YouTube and stuff like that. No, people got real stuff going on outside of the moments where they creating intentional content. Real life is happening. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be real about this thing. Like, if we want to have this, what we got to realize, man, is that there's a part of us that has to die to where we can allow another person to come in and where we can create this union that is more about us collectively than we are about the individual. That doesn't mean the individual version of you dies completely and goes away, because we still have to be able to maintain some level of individuality. Absolutely. While we're in a marriage, while we're growing in love or whatever. But you also have to realize that the priority is the union. And that takes a whole lot of personal growth. That takes a whole lot of effort. That takes a whole lot of intention and clarity. People be lacking clarity. Clarity is everything. Because if you don't have clarity in your marriage and your relationship, that mug is doomed to fail because neither one of you know where you are. You don't know where you're going. And if y'all don't know that, y'all don't know how to help each other get there. Sabotage is waiting to happen. Especially knowing that the fact that disruption follows intention. If you don't set your intention, everything else around you is doing it for you. If you ain't got no plan, then something else is going to make you a part of its plan. Come on, man. Like, I better wake up, bro. Life is real. And marriage is not something you can be casual about.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, you can't be casual about marriage. You got to show up and do this thing on purpose, like with a purpose, for a reason. And you got to love to do it every single day and reinvest yourself, your time, your effort, your thoughts, your mind, your body, all of that into it every single day. You don't get no days off.
And it's a beautiful thing.
And I love every bit of it. It's a
beautiful thing. I love being married to my husband.
Talk about it.
I love being married to you.
Because I know your husband loved being married to you.
I couldn't even imagine being it any other way. Like any other way. Oh my God. And I can say that knowing that being married to you helped me become who I am. And when I tell you I love me, listen, I love some me.
And I love you.
So it's like you've helped me grow so much. Like being married, listen, I could go on. Like, I don't think people realize the power of a marriage, but power of a mastermind, power of two brains being linked together. You recognizing my weaknesses and building me up, me recognizing your weaknesses and building you up, me filling in the holes, you filling in the flaws. Like us, people don't realize the power in that and how it can help you be the person that you truly desire to be.
Right.
Everyone is looking. I ain't gonna say everyone. Some people are looking, when they look for relationships, they're looking for the perfect person. And ultimately, you build each other up to be the perfect people for each other.
Right.
That's literally what it is. No one comes ready-made perfect for you. And you continuously grow and perfect each other along the journey because you're evolving along the way. So you're learning so much. So you're changing so much. And like that dance for me excites me.
Right.
Because it's like, you know how many versions of my husband I've had? You know what I'm saying? Lot. It's like I've had so many versions of you. It's never dull. Okay. It's never dull. So like that excites me because it's like, okay, like my husband is growing this way. Like this is exciting. This is fun. But I know he's working on some other shit. So in like a few months or so, maybe a few weeks, who knows? He learns quickly. I don't know. He's going to evolve quick and then he's going to be a different version of himself. And I'm going to be like, ooh, I like this. Like I love it. I absolutely love it. But I don't think they don't realize that that's a part of the journey also. Like, the person I married when we were 21, you were not that person at all.
Even me today wouldn't fool with 21-year-old version of me. I'm like, bruh, what is your problem? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And people don't understand that is a part of the journey.
And it's amazing. It really is. Like, I can't even, like, I wish I could put it into better words because I know I'm not like wordy like you, but I wish I could put it into words how dope the experience of evolving together and helping each other along the way and not having to figure it out by myself and having someone who loves me through my down moments. Cause baby, last year, I was hurting and my husband carried me. And that was it. Huh?
I do what I can.
You carried me because I was having a hard time. When I told you that I wanted to change, I was working on myself, facing my insecurities, facing my fears, fighting my own demons, trying to grow, being uncomfortable, doing hard things, all of this stuff. You helped me do these things. If I was by myself, I probably wouldn't have made it because it was harder than what I thought it would be. So I appreciate that. So having somebody who is there with you, who is loving you through your healing, through your journey, through your personal growth is dope.
And that's what people miss, man, because we have spent a lot of time talking about like you going through those moments. But like I've told people before, man, there's been so many moments in our marriage where I've completely lost myself, and my wife had to be there to help bring me out of those moments. And she the one that helped get me back on track. She's the one that helped me get back to a space mentally where I was able to show up for myself and for our family. And people don't understand, man, that there's so much time between the moment you meet somebody and the moment you commit to that person and the rest of time. So much is going to happen. You're going to have these moments where you lose yourself, where life feels like it's getting the best of you, whatever the case may be. And you have to have somebody right there in your corner who loves you enough to be able to care for you and be there for you and be with you through those moments. And that's what we've been multiple times over the past 12 years. We've had so many of those. And every time we have those moments, we come back with a stronger love, a stronger commitment, a stronger dedication to each other, and a bigger vision for where we want our life and our marriage and everything that we're building together to be. Like, we become so much better through all of those moments. And
Absolutely.
People don't see that. Like, you don't just wake up one day and it's like, oh my God, like I love everything that we are and whatever the hell. It's like, yeah, that's cool. But it came with something. There's a whole lot that you missed. There's so much substance behind that didn't get spoke about, that you're not aware of. And that be the part, man, that people miss. Like, man, when you was going through what you was going through, I was glad to be there. Like that, it was a privilege for me to show up for you in your hardest times and moments, because I know that, for one, it takes a lot for you to be able to lean on me and to know that I'm going to carry you through these hard moments where you're trying to become a version of yourself that you don't even know.
Period. That part, baby.
You don't even know who this woman is that you're trying to become. And I say, hey, you know what? When you wrote that thing down and you said that this is the type of woman that I want to become, I said, bet. I'm going to love that woman with everything that I got, regardless of what you may look like right now, because you right now, I love that woman too. But I'm going to do everything that I can to help you become who you can be proud of, who you can love. Because the more you love yourself, the more I'm able to love on you freely. And you being willing to accept all of that. Like, it's a process.
It is.
You've done the same thing for me. And we're always having that exchange, because life is chaotic and we keep having to grow and meet new versions of ourselves as we grow through life together. It don't get easier. Life may be hard at times, but our marriage is never hard.
Right.
Because I love this. I'm invested in everything that you are and everything that you ultimately want to become. And I do not look at that as difficult.
Right.
It's a privilege to me. I get to do that.
Right.
And people don't understand that you have to be that invested in the person that you want to be with, because life is long. You got to go through a lot in life.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready to deal with all that comes with it.
Absolutely.
When you stand at the altar with somebody and you say vows, those vows are to death. The good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the amazing, the bottoms, the lows, all of that. Because life is going to throw so many different challenges your way. And you got to be with somebody who you're willing to go through every last bit of it with and love them unconditionally all the way through. Not going to say unconditionally, but you got to be with somebody who you love through all of that, as though you love yourself. I would even say more than you love yourself, because a lot of us don't love ourselves the way that we should.
Talk about it.
And that's just being honest.
Yeah.
Because if we are all being completely truthful with ourselves, a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with today is because of our lack of love for self. But that's not to bash people. It's the human condition.
It is.
That is just a human condition, and we're all growing through that. Nobody's above anybody else in experiencing that. But if we can make peace with it and still keep trying to grow and be better, then we might all end up somewhere a little bit better on the other side of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's my synopsis of freaking marriage. That might not be the right word, but that's the one I'm going to use today.
You use whatever word you want to use, baby. Whatever word feels right.
Man, like, maybe you can give me some clarity on this.
On what?
I don't understand why people have made the idea of marriage and commitment and fulfillment so difficult to understand today, because we get so many different opinions online. And everybody is looking for someone to validate what they already feel. And they don't even understand the fact that because they lack the clarity in themselves, anything that they get in that justifies a feeling or a thought that they already got, be it destructive or unproductive, all they're doing is reinforcing it because they didn't decide what they wanted it to be from the jump. So they're reinforcing a belief they may not even completely have a full idea of. But what if we got a little bit more clarity on that? What if we was a little bit more intentional? What if we stopped just allowing people to project their fears, their doubts, their insecurities, and all of that stuff on us, and we decided what we wanted life to be like? We decided the type of love that we wanted to experience, and we were willing to invest in that outcome. We were willing to invest it in ourselves to become that personally, so that way we can give that back out. Because you don't get love without giving it. Like, we can sit up here and talk money, we can talk investing, we can do all of that other stuff. We get it over here, but when it comes to our intimate relationships, we struggle understanding that the same laws, the same principles exist in marriage and relationships. If you want love, if you want respect, if you want all of that other stuff in your marriage, you got to give it first. And where people really be messing up is they spend all them years being ain't shit ass individuals. And the day that you fall in love, you think it's supposed to be perfect, but you don't realize, boss, you still got a whole bunch of shit that you got to answer for. And then when it ends up not being what you expected, it's like, oh my God, people ain't shit, women ain't shit, men ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Right.
You spent all them years dogging people and treating them like crap, and you thought that you weren't gonna have to answer for that? How about you go over there and seek some forgiveness? Go apologize a few times. Go and try to right your wrongs. Get closer to God. Do whatever you have to do to correct the wrongs that you've made, and to open up a pathway to where love can exist in your life. Take some freaking accountability for what you did. And don't be mad when a mug come over here and give you back the same energy that you've been putting out for years, and you think just because now you in a comfortable place or whatever, that all the dirt you did just magically disappears. When you lie, when you cheat, when you put out all of that negative crap, you think you ain't gonna have to answer for that at some point?
Even the things you post on social media counts.
Everything you put out. It don't matter if it's written
when
or
you're
verbal.
Trolling the internet.
You are going to have to answer to that at some point in time. Period. Don't be surprised when it come back in a way that you wasn't expecting. 10 times worse than what you was expecting.
When you're ready for what you want.
When you think you're ready. And it's like, dang, now it's hit me again. Now I got to deal with that karma. Man, look.
It's funny how it works.
Well, better get that crap together.
Get it together.
Whatsoever, so you will reap.
Get it together. Ooh, what's the lip? It's the, ooh. Okay. Yeah. I love you. love you. Oh man, that was good. Okay, what else we gonna talk about? That was really good.
I know, man.
You went in.
I'm sorry. I did. I really.
No, don't apologize for that.
Not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I had a moment just based off of all of this craziness that we've seen, and it's like, man, I wish more people understood it, like that they got it, like, and it don't have to be difficult. I really wish, man, that more men would find more productive ways of sharing the way that they feel without having to project that crap on other men. And the fact that we've gotten to a point to where we feel like just that because one person has experienced some form of hurt or pain, that is what's destined to happen to another man is a bad space to be in.
Right.
Like, we don't have to accept that thought and that belief.
Right.
Just because you've experienced pain, just because you've experienced hurt or heartbreak, that means that there's something in you that you need to fix. And if you can make peace with that, if you can take responsibility and hold yourself accountable to understanding that you played a role in that, you can do something about it.
Yeah.
And stop trying to put it on the people that you chose to be with.
Uh-oh.
Because if you had a higher level of responsibility and accountability, you would have had a higher standard for what you allowed into your life, and you would have cared for it differently. Let's talk about the role that you played in it. If the woman that you chose on your own free will wasn't what you expected, it's because you allowed that to come into your life because your standards was off. Your vision was off. Your values was off. And you allowed that thing to walk into your life and to cause hell or whatever it is. Because of what you allowed. Because if you didn't want it to be there, then it shouldn't have been there.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But even though that might sound real, like at you or whatever, it should be empowering because that says that, you know what? If I can hold myself to a higher standard, if I can hold myself more accountable, if I can be clear on what my values are and what I think is important to me and the life that I want to live and the love that I want to experience, then that means I can change my actions, which will change my results. That's it. But if you don't have any standards, if you don't have any values, then anything that happens to you, you're just going to have to deal with the collateral damage of your lack of clarity.
Right.
I ain't got nothing else for you.
For real, for real.
So, baby, from a wifely standpoint.
Okay, take a sip of Uptown.
And all of this craziness that we've been having to deal with, what's been one of the biggest lessons and takeaways that you've gotten from all of this? Just seeing the amount of hurt, from seeing, women rally around the fact that they want, meaningful relationships. And I know, man, it's probably some toxicity on both sides or whatever the case may be.
Which is a part of the human experience.
It is.
Everybody comes with trauma. Everybody comes with,
nobody is ready made.
Exactly.
But from your wifely standpoint, that's what you are. You're right. Like what's some of your biggest takeaways from what you've observed lately? Have you had any realizations in everything that we've had to deal with online lately?
Well, from what it seems like, it's so much positive stuff on the particular post we were talking about you saying how you take pride in being a husband. There's so much positive feedback, like from women who say they want this. This is something they truly, truly desire. Even other couples are on there saying, this is how I am with my spouse and things like that. And I think that shit is so dope. what I did notice was like most of the negative comments were from Black men. And I was really like, kind of like, I guess like kind of taken back because most of the comments were along the lines of, well, she's still going to cheat. And I'm like, damn, like, you don't even know me. You don't even know what we've built together. You don't know my values. You don't know what my standards are as a wife. You don't know how I hold myself at a very high standard as your wife. You just come on here, oh, well, she's still going to cheat. Like, that's unfortunate that was like your experience, but to come and say that on somebody else's post who's clearly happy and blissful, it kind of took me back. Like, I was taken back by it because I'm like, why has it become so acceptable for people to come on social media and project their realities onto other people? Why is that okay? Why is it okay to project negative thoughts or negative perspectives on other people who are posting positive content? Like, why has that become acceptable?
Projecting their hurt.
Like, why has that become okay in someone else's mind to do? Because I've never, like, we done been through some stuff. I done been through some stuff. You done been through some stuff. But I have never felt like I needed to project anything that I've been through negatively onto somebody else. And I think that's an odd way to post. Like, I guess my point is the fact that it's become such a norm is a problem in itself.
That's real.
Like, it is actually a big problem. And the fact that it has become so normal that a person can think in their mind that it's okay to do this anyway. Like, it's normal behavior on social media. So people think in their minds that it's truly acceptable. So I'm going to just go ahead and put my hurt on social media, even though I don't know these people and I don't even know what their experience is. And the fact that they possibly don't want to experience that hurt again. It's like a freaking mind twister. It's like they project things that have happened to them that they don't want to ever happen to them again, to people that they don't even know on the internet for other people to see and amen that. They want people to come on there and like it because when they comment on our stuff, they're not talking to us. It's like they're talking to other people who will read the comments. That's not us. So they don't say, oh, they don't address us. They say like, oh, she's doing this or, oh, he's doing that. But it's not directed like as they're talking to us. It's like they're talking to their own audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, I guess because like, I just recently started, being in the comments and stuff like that for real. So it like kind of blows my mind because I'm like, it's like people live in this fantasy world on social media. And it's like they create these whole like delusional thought. Example. Dude came on the post, was going back and forth with me saying that I was going to divorce you. Basically, he was saying, me and this guy is talking. He said, oh yeah, she's going to divorce him, take half of everything and all that stuff. And I replied to this guy and I said, it's unfortunate that you would say something about a couple that you don't even know or put this, negative projection on them or whatever. And he was like, and then he said some nonsense and I replied again. I'm like, damn, like, it's really sad that you keep trying to push this narrative about a couple that you don't even know. And he was like, well, I do know them personally. And I was like, bruh, that's me and my husband in the video. I was like, this is me and my, like, you've been going back and forth with the person who's in the video. Like, people are legit delusional. When I tell you, like, I was like floored by this because this dude he lied over and over again. And then, he made up some shit, a narrative, a crazy narrative. And then felt like since he was losing the argument that he needed to lie and say he knew the people in the video and come to find out I was in the video. Sir.
Looking like a whole idiot.
Now you look like a dumbass. Now you look like a complete dumbass. And I was like, Floor, I'm like, people really do this. Like, people really come on the internet and just lie for no reason.
I would encourage you all, man. If you're not online to share something positive, to make an impact, to be able to promote your business and services, it may not be the best place to be.
Listen, baby, see, the thing is, people...
it may not be the best place.
You know, that sounds good. That really sounds good. But people come on the internet to escape. People come on the internet to be someone else. Like,
to validate their insecurities and beliefs.
Yeah. So it's like, even to say that it's just like, yeah, social media is just for fun. Is it though? Is it though? If it's changed your whole perspective of a whole gender, or it's changed your whole perspective of relationships and how you view what marriage is, is it just for fun though? Is it fun? Is it just for fun when you've decided in your mind that it's okay to project negative thoughts about people you don't even know? Is that fun to you? Is fun? I don't think fun is the word.
You know what though? It's sad that especially like in the Black culture, it has been that way. The fact that even a lot of the Black shows and stuff like that today are centered around sex, drama, and all types of other crap that don't make us better. We have found a source of entertainment, freaking community, whatever, around all of these things that don't make us better as a collective.
Right.
And we've gotten to a point now today to where people value money and status over having meaningful relationships. And they value the money more than they value the impact and the service that you provide that produces the money. And that's what really kind of trips me out today. Like the fact that we've gotten to a point in time to where we're so focused on outcomes that we don't even pay attention at all to the processes that produce the outcomes. It makes no sense to me today that people glorify being a boss or whatever the hell you want to call it, but you don't glorify the fact that you got to serve in order to become that. The CEO typically has a whole bunch of people under them that he has to care for, that he has to serve a community of people that he has to actually give a damn about in order to produce the outcome that produces the money. It's not even about the money itself. It's about the impact that you make on the people, and they pay you for the service that you provide. In a marriage, you have a partner who you serve. You provide a service to. You show up for them. You care for them. You give a damn. And you get the love, the respect, the loyalty, and all of that other stuff as a form of payment on the other side. And you become a boss in that relationship based on your ability to show up for the person that you say that you care about. And what we've done is we've glorified outcomes more than we've glorified the processes and what it takes in order to produce the end result. It makes no sense. Don't tell me about what you got on the other side of that, because you can get money for a whole lot of bad reasons. For a whole lot of bad reasons, for doing a whole bunch of stuff that literally breaks down and tears down your morality, your self-respect, all type of stuff. Your community, your self-image, everything. Tell me about what you did to get it. Tell me about your characters, about your standards, about the values that you have as a person, and how you use that stuff to positively impact people. Tell me about that stuff. I don't give a damn about the money or the stuff you got or your status. No, what the fuck you stand for? What is it? What does your outcome even mean if it's not attached to something that's meaningful?
Right.
So when they look at our relationship and what we have, it's because of the process. It's because of our complete unwavering commitment to each other over everything life has thrown at us.
Right.
What we have now is because we gave ourselves to the process and have loved each other through it. And every time we've gotten to the other end of a situation or a hard time or whatever, we were able to acknowledge how far we've came, and we were able to love on each other and say, you know what? I'm glad I went through this with you. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And people will glorify, oh my God, he's so amazing. He loves his wife, black love, all of this other stuff, which is cool. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But you don't know what we went through in order for it to be this. Mm-hmm. Damn what you see right here. Find somebody who you enjoy the journey with, and who you're willing to invest your everything into in order to see that thing through, and who you can love through, who you can go through all of that stuff with, who you can evolve and grow with. That's what matters. It's the process. Mm-hmm. It's people who've been married 20, 30 years and miserable because they think, oh, I believe in God and I don't want to get a divorce or whatever. People got some real bad ideologies about what God's perspective or his thoughts are around marriage and all types of stuff. Man, people be twisting stuff real bad, not realizing, man, that not all marriages are to his pleasing, for lack of a better way of saying it. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't all pleasing in his sight.
Exactly. Like some people genuinely shouldn't be together,
right,
but they got some old beliefs, you know, from their childhood or what they saw somewhere else that makes them stick it through or whatever the case in a place where they probably shouldn't be. We are humans and we make mistakes. And just because you made it to the altar with a mug does not mean that you ought to spend your whole life with them.
Facts.
Some people need to acknowledge the fact that their humanness probably took advantage of them in that moment, and you might not need to be there, especially if you're not enjoying it, feeling fulfilled from it, and becoming a better person from it. Because if none of that stuff is happening, boss, you might have made a bad choice.
Yeah.
You might have made a real life bad choice. But what I'm saying all of that because marriage is so freaking amazing and fulfilling, and it's so dope just because of the fact that you literally have to constantly be becoming a newer, better version of yourself with the person that you've decided to do life with. And y'all got to be in that thing together, growing together, evolving together, investing in each other together, learning and taking on the freaking world together, and doing that thing constantly in pursuit of something that's bigger than yourselves, because that's what keeps the bond so strong. It ain't even just about love. The love is there, but that is a fraction, a small percentage of what it's about in the grand scheme of things, because at the end of the day, life is going to be difficult. It's meant to be that way. And you got to be with somebody who you are willing to go through the difficulty with. The process.
Yeah.
Don't be glorifying what people got on the other end because you don't know what it took to get there.
Yeah. Facts.
Tell me what you stand for. What's your values? What you've been through? Tell us about that stuff. Damn your money. I don't care how long you've been together. What is your marriage based on?
Yes. Yeah.
People be sticking it out for 30, 40 some odd years. Marriage trash.